Hello, I'm Mina, and I'm here on behalf of IELTS. There are three main objectives for this presentation. Firstly, to provide you with an overview of the IELTS Morgan Terry Memorial IATEFL Scholarship. Secondly, to talk about the benefits of the scholarship. And finally, to provide some guidance and tips on the application process. But before we begin, I'd like you to think for a moment about Morgan Terry, after whom this scholarship is named. Morgan was a teacher for 32 years, worked full-time on IELTS for 18 years, and lived and worked in 6 countries: France, Norway, China, Indonesia, Angola, and the UK. Her vast and varied experience made her an insightful teacher, a successful author, and an incredible contributor to the IELTS test. The scholarship consists of registration for the T6 pre-IATEFL conference event, registration for IATEFL, a year's IATEFL membership, a maximum of 5 nights accommodation, travel costs, including, if necessary, an economy flight to the UK, plus daily expenses. Information about the scholarship and guidelines for applying can be found on the IELTS.org website. We'll talk about the scholarship in detail in a moment, but first let me introduce you to the last 2 winners. Alison from the UK was the inaugural winner in 2012, and Aysegul Liman Kaban from Turkey won last year's scholarship. They met each other at the IATEFL conference in Harrogate, where Aysegul was presented her award in the presence of Steve Terry, Morgan's husband. The main focus of this session is for us to help you with guidance on the 3 criteria for the description of your material. The 3 criteria are the creation process behind the material, the reasons why the material is innovative, and how the material may be used by other teachers. And we'll look at these criteria one at a time. What inspired you to create the material for your class? Was it necessity? Did you have to create it? Was it that you saw an opportunity, a window to try something out? Or was it a bit of both? Think about a time when you had to create materials for a lesson. Why did you have to do this? What wasn't working? The material you created was the solution to a problem. What was the problem? Resources everywhere, but not the one thing I want. Sometimes we do just have to create something ourselves, as unfortunately not every single thing we would like to do in the classroom has already been thought of and created. In class, you observe that there are quite a few students who are struggling with a particular language point or concept, and you feel that they need more practice before you move on. However, you may have exhausted all the practice materials available, and also you might feel that if you practiced in a slightly different way, for example in a more visual, kinesthetic way, maybe using drama, the outcome for your students might be different. Course books provide great ideas, but sometimes an idea or task just needs a little tweaking to make it that little bit more relevant for our students, and that small change could make the world of a difference. We've all had a class who are there in body because they have to be, but their minds are obviously elsewhere, where they would rather be. And in order to make the time spent together more useful, relevant, meaningful, and hopefully enjoyable, we have no choice but to stretch ourselves and think of something a little bit more creative, different, and experimental. This list is not definitive, but provides some reasons why it is sometimes necessary to create our own material. Opportune moments. Think about a time when you saw and seized an opportunity to create new material. What happened to bring that moment of, perhaps I could try that, or, oh, okay, perhaps if I did it that way? What inspired you? An unexpected moment or stage in the lesson when, out of a question, comment or discussion, teaching and learning that isn't planned takes place. These are wonderful moments that can be left as they are, an unexpected yet lovely teaching moment, or extended into something more substantial like a task. But whatever you choose to do with them, take a moment to enjoy them. Variety is the spice of life. We all know this, and yet sometimes when we are flowing along with the rhythms of our daily and weekly routines, we can find ourselves nestling within the comforts of our teaching style and rhythm, and not forgetting but perhaps overlooking the variety that is needed in the classroom to keep our students motivated, involved and participating. And then something happens to jolt us out of this comfortable rhythm, and we remember we should try and do something differently today. When there is good rapport in the classroom and students are active, alert, enjoying themselves and as a result learning, they are confident and receptive and trying out new things and taking on more risks. And for some teachers it is classes such as these that provide them with a springboard to try new things, extend the learning and their own teaching at the same time. In situations like this, the students are receptive and confident, and therefore the teacher is confident. Wonderful things could happen, and often do. Workshops and conferences are an incredible source of new teaching ideas, and I don't know about you, but I often find myself sitting in a session thinking about exactly how an idea could be worked into my lesson or teaching when I get back home. It may not be an exact fit, but that doesn't matter. I can try it out and, if necessary, tweak it. Innovation means first different, then better. That is, a fundamentally different way of doing things that result in considerably better and perhaps different outcomes. Both the different and the better must be significant and substantial. So according to Elliot Washer, innovation is not necessarily something new. It is a different way of doing something that is new to your students and leads to a better engagement, understanding and ultimately better outcomes for them. For the purposes of this scholarship application, innovative means something that hasn't been tried in your context for an IELTS lesson before, something that will encourage, motivate, surprise, engage, involve and inspire your students to learn more and do better. Creating innovative material means keeping your students at the heart of the process. What would work better for them? This could mean thinking about their circumstances, backgrounds, interests, learning preferences, motivations to name but a few, and ultimately linking this to how it will help them to improve their language skills. When people think of innovation, they often think of technology, but in quite a few contexts now, technology isn't different anymore, but it could be used differently to achieve improved results and better outcomes for your students. Alison has used her knowledge of her students' circumstances to create this lesson. In her application, she says that an IELTS lesson needs to be speedily inspiring and exciting at the start if it is to gain the full commitment and attention of her students. She has created this beautifully different lesson to immediately captivate her students' attention and therefore motivate them to continue. Aysegul says that her students generally have problems with the speaking part of the test, that they get very stressed and feel hopeless. So, with the right preparation built in, Aysegul has created this task. Aysegul comes from Turkey. She has used her context and the resources within it to help her students gain confidence and practice speaking with other speakers of English. And as Aysegul says, it provides them with a real reason for communication and exposes them to a variety of English. One of the cornerstones of a conference like IATEFL is the sharing of experiences and ideas, and so we'd like you to think about how versatile and adaptable your material could be for other teachers. Aysegul students are asking tourists personal questions. The idea is that innovative materials can be a springboard for many other innovative ideas that can bring a difference into the classroom. Different ideas can come with just a little tweak. Innovative does not have to mean overhauling. So, in summary, when you are writing your 400 to 500 word description, think about the process behind the creation of the material, why the material is innovative, and whether it can be used by other teachers.
If you look carefully at the scholarship requirements, what I would say to anybody thinking of applying for the scholarship is just look at the requirements carefully, go through them all systematically, enjoy it, and make whatever you do, having fitted in with all the requirements, then make it special and make it you.